Hi, this is Leslie Fruit with an Edutorial about a formative response tool that I have really come to enjoy called Kahoot. So if we take a look at what you get when you type in Kahoot on Google, you see several hits. The one you want to go to is getkahoot.com. I already have a free Kahoot account, and here's what it looks like. If I want to build one of these, I simply click on New Kahoot and Quiz. Then you would type in some kind of name for the quiz that helps you remember it. You may even consider putting in the standards numbers. If, for example, mine, I name them after the next generation science standard to which they pertain, and click go. Now, I did a little copy pasting in order to make my life easier. So the question I'm going to be asking for the first part of this formative response tool is about solutions. So when salt is dissolved in water, water is the... You can see that it's multiple choice in format with up to 4 choices. If you only have 3, or if you're doing true and false, that's 2, you can simply subtract the ones that you don't need. You cannot add 5, and you cannot do fill in the blanks. So when salt is dissolved in water, water is the solvent. So that's how you make sure that the answer will register as correct. And you can see there's numbers beside everything. It limits you to a certain number of characters. So your questions, I think it's 95 characters, you really need to be succinct. Same with these answers. So it's something that I usually do as a primetime task or bell work task. The students come in, I need to refocus them on the lesson, and I also, if I want to find out how they're doing or what they already know, it's a great way to get a quick formative grade out of them, having fun while doing so. So this is where you would navigate between your questions. If you want to upload some kind of image, you're welcome to. Usually you would have an image that relates to the question. I don't have one on hand, but this will do. And you can even be asking questions for which the students need to refer to the diagram. Save and continue. It asks you to rate it, probably because you can share it publicly or you can keep it private. School, you can put a description here, and you can also use tags in order to help you keep it organized. Now, you can also choose a file that helps you remember what it's all about. And I click done. If I go to my Kahoots, I can see that it's there now. And what do I do next? Well, if I want to run it as a PTT, I have it set up, and as the students enter, this is what they will see. So I decide, do I want to display the game pin throughout? Yes, I do. So if students arrive late, they can still get in on some of the questions. I usually have 10 questions. I also like to make sure that the order of answers is randomized, and so I hit launch. Now, while the students are getting connected, they can either use their phone or they can use their laptop, as long as they have a Wi-Fi internet connection. And what they need to enter is this number up top, and so I'm going to do it here. It's telling me connecting. And then it asks me for a nickname. I ask my students to do something that helps me in case I want to import the grade into gradebook as a weight of 0, just as a formative or diagnostic grade to keep them and their parents informed as to how they did. And so I've typed in who I want to be on my phone or in my laptop, and I know when the students have done that because their names appear here. I will make another video that tells you why I've asked them to use a semicolon. Once the student is in, all the students are registering. I have a class of 21, and I expect to see 21 appear if they're all in attendance. I click start. The student's seeing this. And there's the question. They have a chance to read it before the clock timer starts counting down. They've got 20 seconds, that's default. And this is what they're seeing on their screen. And I am choosing solvent. And you can see you get a graphical display. So for me, if I see that the right answer was chosen by the majority of students, that reaffirms that they get what's going on or they've understood the previous lesson or previous week's content. However, if I see that the majority of them chose a different response, maybe I accidentally clicked the wrong one as being correct, or maybe when I taught it, it didn't work well, I can go back and revisit if I need to. If I hit next, I'll get a scoreboard of the top 5. In a large class, that means anybody who really doesn't know the content yet isn't being shamed or embarrassed. And in the case of a smaller class, I have one of 7, so when it shows the top 5, everybody knows which 2 students aren't on the scoreboard. I gave them animal names to use, and as long as their student ID is there, it doesn't really matter what they call themselves, as long as it's polite. So those are some strategies you can use to deal with the fact that there is a ranking. The feedback and results. Students have an opportunity to decide how they felt about it. They can rate it in terms of how many stars they're giving it. They can say whether or not they've learned something, and they can add whether or not they enjoyed it. They love the frowny face. Even if they were laughing and enjoying themselves, the frowny face always gets chosen over and above the others. Now, the final results you can download, and that's what I will do for now. So that's something that you can use that's fun, engaging, quick, to get an idea of whether or not what you've talked about, what you've done all week or last lesson, or even to find out ahead of time what the students have actually retained in terms of course content. Thank you for listening.